So, good morning to everybody. And I got up, I did my prayers and my exercises. Very important, a little bit of meditation. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a post that I had because I don't know, maybe a lot of people is figuring it out now. Because I'm kind of a bit much when I be replying in comments. And so I had a post up about some years back, and it was about their I don't know if they're Mexican or Puerto Rican, but there is two, and they're stuck together. So this was some years back, and they were living in the United States. They needed to be here because we got the good doctors and stuff over here. Obviously, their country was poor. I don't even remember the whole story about it, but it was a little short, little thing about them, like a little video, and people were commenting on it, and I made a comment because the video was like a little news thing, something to help them. It was kind of like a sort of an advertisement, if you would, to help them, because they were trying to stay in the country. Their parents had them over here for like different medical care because they can't be separated, obviously. So they needed to be over here for the medical care. They don't have that in their country. They don't have access to that or whatnot. And so the little news video was to help them. It was to get their story out and everything. And so people were commenting up under the video about if it was how they felt about the girls, being in the United States, and what did they think? They were in threat of being sent back. So this was an old video. I haven't even went and seen what's going on with them or whatnot. I just, it was just something that came up in my feed some years back. And so I had commented that the girls should be able to stay here. And, the parents as the caregivers, if the parents can be trained, I'm sure those are their kids. So they probably just got some natural maternal instincts, but some type of health medical field type training could be given to the parents that will cut down, as far as them having to have like, special nurses and things like that, but like the parents can do that. How you can become a caregiver or a home health aide, with a little bit of training for your own loved one. You know what I'm saying? Especially when people is paying that out of pocket. I kind of get that and understand that. It'll help a little bit. But they still need to be over here for like the hospitals and the doctors and stuff. And so my comment was, they should be able to stay and receive the medical treatment and everything. And that was years ago I made that comment. So somebody actually responded this late. Like, it's like 2 years later. And I had got I get a little notification that I had a message or a response to that. It kind of tell you which comment they responded to. And so it's a really old comment. But it was somebody on there. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. How the profiles be set up. You can't really tell. Shoe and ham and, dog 367. You don't know if it's a girl or a man. If they don't have a picture. Mine's have a picture on it. And then sometime with the picture, you don't know neither. But that's the whole story for another day. We ain't even going there. We ain't going there. So I, was reading it, and, they were telling me, how, that's easy for me to say because I live over here, and just some other stuff they were saying, you know what I'm saying? And, about our medical, and how we're treated over here in America. I'm a United States citizen, and blah, blah, blah. And get to talk about the college and the financial and all that stuff, And so I have responded. It wasn't a very nice response, And again, I identify as spiritual, but if people, once you go and look at some of my comments, you wouldn't know because, sometimes I get off track, you know what I'm saying? And people can take you there. You have to protect your space. That's very important. You know what I'm saying? Don't get nobody your energy. You got good energy, keep that. That's for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't give no negative person your energy. If somebody else got the same energy as you, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But don't, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because that's what they want. They are vampires, and they just want your energy. And so and I would stupidly gave her a little bit of it, but I said, but it was kind of like I also gave her a couple of life tips, and that was to me, and this is how I was raised, because when my mom and dad separated, they never divorced, but when they separated, and they separated and it was over. It was over. They, went on. They just never got the divorce, but they never got back together. And they separated when we were small. My grandmother had us. I have some comments on here where I talk a little bit about, we went into foster care a little bit. And it was we, not just just we, but I don't want to really talk about like my, you know what I'm saying, my sisters and brothers, and that's their journey. They need to tell that. So that's why I kind of stumbled with that. But I talk a little bit about that in my comments. And so what I want to say is I watched my grandmother, my heart and the way I was raised come from a very good place. And when my grandmother, pretty much everybody dropped their kids off with my grandmother. My mom and dad had separated, but, my other aunties, was dropping off their kids too. And so my grandmother, she barely had, enough. She was struggling, because my mom had 6 kids. So she was struggling with us, but, it was some other kids, their cousins and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so, but if we brought home a friend or was outside playing with a friend and their family, or their parents had problems and stuff, and it was the talk of the neighborhood, the parents probably knew that from gossiping, that, oh, their parents on drugs or blah, 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 parents in jail or whatever, whatever. Our little friend might be hungry. My grandmother fed them. And that stands out. That, I tell this story to a lot of my closest friends and stuff. And my kids know this. And they know how I feel about this. Even my kids grown up today. I watched my grandmother feed strangers, when she just barely had enough for us. And people wouldn't understand that. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that don't get that. Because they hungry. They want to feed themselves and stuff their own mouth. And that's not what life is about. A lot of people ain't really got this stuff figured out. And I probably ain't got it figured out completely neither. But it ain't all about you. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? If you take that sandwich and give that sandwich you got to a hungry person, God probably going to bless you with 10 more sandwiches. For you giving away that one. But people can't take that risk. I mean, I'm almost in tears recording this when I think about that. Because people can't take that risk because they so greedy. I don't have a problem with my tax dollars going to help any child. Anybody that needs the help. And you've got to be a kid. Seriously. They don't have to be from this country. You know? So it's not all about you. You know, the sacrifices and the challenges and things that you go through in this life are very, very important for your relationship with our Creator. It's important. It's important to our Creator how you deal with these situations. Stop stuffing everything into your mouth. It's okay to put something in somebody else's mouth sometime. It's all right to be a little bit hungry, because I've been there. So this person fussing at me about medical care, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? The elite are going to do it like they want to do it. Us fussing and arguing with each other and who shouldn't come get this and come get that is pointless. It's pointless. We don't run anything. The rich people run it, and that's who been running it, and they gonna keep on running it. Everything else is just foolery. Not real. You know, the rich people run it. We don't really have a say. They playing with us. They playing in our face, and they have been doing it forever, and they won't stop. What is your hope? Get right with God. You know what I'm saying? This material stuff ain't nothing. And it ain't so much about you die, you can't take it with you. It ain't nothing. It's nothing. God watch you and how you treat and react to other people. Stop trying to fill your own stomach up. If you, and it be a lot of these people that claim to be God-fearing people, God, you know, but they scared of this, they can't explain that. Religious people is the scariest people. Some of them. Really. You know, when I was growing up, my grandmother, great-grandmother, them, you know, or, you know, we was even around some religious people. You know, with some in my family, you know. They, you know, I remember they wasn't scared of anything. I don't know if that's a weird thing or what. But, you know, religious people, they don't want to take the shot. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, you so into God. You believe in God, you know. Don't you know God got you? He got you. You believe that, right? Because you standing in church teaching it to everybody else. You running down the street hitting people over the head with Bibles. So you got to believe it. Don't teach something that you don't even believe. That's my thing. So, back to the girls and needing the medical care. My father was in the military, and my husband. So let's just say, you know, and I've pretty much worked all my life. I have no problem with nothing, none of my taxes going to whoever needs it, really needs it. No problem. They don't have to be from this country. It's a person in need. It ain't about country. Because I watched my grandmother feed our little hungry friend. She made it work. I mean, she made sure we ate. It was tight. But she made it work. That's where her heart was. You know, she didn't think, these my grandkids, they got to eat. You know, it was the rumor around the neighborhood, the kids was hungry. They didn't have no food. The parents were on drugs. You know, so my grandmother wasn't selfish. You know, so that was my response to that comment. Stop thinking about yourself. If you don't like the policies in America, get out. Get out. Don't stay here and talk about it. Go. Leave. You laying up here farting, you know, living over here, but talking about it. And I make comments and laugh about it too, but I love my country. Do I like everything that they do and stand for? No. But I was born and raised here. This is what I know. I have no problem with helping nobody. That's just, it is what it is. Those are American policies with the student loans and the taxes and all of that. And if you don't like it, get out. And so that's what I wanted to talk about for today. That was just on my mind when I went and read that comment. And, whoever he or she was, just thinking about themselves. We in America, this, and, what about our medical care? And see, I said, I thought about it, when I was replying, and I said, this person don't know God. They don't have no relationship with God. Because people that have a relationship with God don't constantly think about themselves. And what about you? It ain't always about you. It's okay. It's not always about you. So that's I guess you could call it my morning mimosa. And my tagline, I ain't gonna tell y'all again. This is Ever Be Spooky Girl. Have a nice day, and thank you for listening.